It's now recording. So many blessings, everyone. This is my friend Randal. He's a lovely admin on Gnostic View. We're both Gnostics, and we're here to share little bits of our knowledge. And first, I want to begin this by asking lovely Randal here a question. So, Randal, with the state of the world, why is it important to achieve Gnosis?
Well, hi Nathan, and good morning to our viewers and everybody on the cast. And I'm thrilled to be here. I'm deeply humbled to have been invited here with you because I don't consider myself in any way an expert on the subject or in any way different to anyone else. Because like you, I've been a seeker all my life, and I'm just glad to be here. So let's address some of the questions that you have. One of them you said was why Gnosis? I think if we stopped and took a look about just in our day-to-day lives among us as human beings, and I'm not even talking about the news, I'm not even talking about world events, I'm talking about the simple interaction between you and your neighbor. I'm talking about the simple interaction between you and your employer, the people you connect with, you touch daily with your life. How do we react? How do we perceive the reaction of others? And we find that 9 out of 10 times, every interaction is disingenuous because of people's agendas, you know? And the reason for this is that we've become a society and a humanity of materialistic value rather than a humanity of spiritual or intuitive value, if you could put it that way.
100%.
So the gnosis, the gnosis that we want to access is not so much an intellectual gnosis, but one of intuition, that which is born of that which you are, that which is born of your origin. And perhaps that's the one thing that we can say is the reason for gnosis is because of man's inhumanity to man. We've lost our core, we've lost our origin, and this is the need for gnosis. If that could answer your question in
That
that
is
manner.
beautiful, Randall. Absolutely beautiful. I 100% agree. I also believe that Gnosis teaches us to be in the present moment too. And I could encourage people as well to go for a walk out without their phone, to simply focus on their breath, their heartbeat, to feel themselves with their surroundings, because Gnosis is also spiritual knowledge within. And it really brought me to a path of love. How's it made you feel since you've discovered Gnosis, Randall?
Well, I've got if I may have a little bit of time with this one because I've had a strange experience with gnosis. I'd been a part of a Christian community for my entire life. My mom was my Sunday school teacher, and so you can just imagine the kind of pressure I was under all the time.
I had the same.
And I because it was my mom, I I believed everything she told me, and I believed that Jesus would come, you know. And I remember one day, I think about 20 years ago, maybe even 25 years ago, I was gardening, and I spoke to God in the garden, and I said, God, if you do send Jesus, please send him to my home because I'm not sure I'm going to recognize him, you know. And that was in December of that year, and in January, a strange man came to my home from nowhere, and I met this man who took me on a journey of a lifetime. You know, he didn't want, like myself, also, I don't want to be known. I don't want to be recognized in any way. But and I could say, when I speak about him, I always refer to him as the mother who brought this body to life. I don't know if you can understand the depth of that,
That's beautiful,
because the
brother.
love that man carried for me is a love that I now possess and now I want to share. Yes. So I'm brilliantly humbled by this. And the love which you speak of is something so intense. But it is not the love that many people expect it to be. The cushy, lovey-feely type of love. No. This is a love of hard choices. This is a love of sacrifice.
Hmm.
This is a love of giving. When your last drop of blood you're willing to share for the sake of humanity and those surround you. And to love yourself in all your reflections, that when you see Nathan, as Randal, when you see Nathan, you do not see Nathan as a separate entity, but you see Nathan as an extension of yourself and a reflection of yourself as Randy, the reflection of Randy. And when that love starts to develop in you, then we're starting to get to the point where we can start building a humanity, and where we can build an interaction of of a singular order. Because when Master Jesus said, they will know you by your oneness, he was not talking about all the disciples and people speaking the same language. He was talking about a singularity of
Yeah.
purpose, which is to serve. So that's the love that I've experienced in Gnosis, yes.
That's beautifully said, brother. Absolutely beautiful. Almost got tears in that. I feel the exact same. Gnosis has really shifted my own perspective. I will say I discovered to be human. And that was the day I learned being human is having humanity. Otherwise, most of us give in to our instincts and don't put a second thought in to even observe ourselves, to even see the connection that we share with each other. We are one but many, which is the beautiful thing about human. We have a higher consciousness, and this is our divine spark. And this is why we have the spiritual knowledge within us. And I could say that there's never been a day since humanity's has shifted its consciousness that there's been a day without spiritual knowledge. And one
No,
thing I
for
also
sure.
want to say is meditation is a wonderful practice, and I would encourage that for any Gnostic, even simply sitting there in their quiet thoughts, telling your mind that you're God's mind, that God's thoughts flow through you, that your mind is Christ's mind, something like this, because you're giving something back to yourself instead of seeking outside of yourself. And I find Gnosis is really about the self-discovery, searching from within. And I'm sure that you've had many circumstances that you've come to develop yourself and progress yourself and know yourself, Randal.
Yeah. Well, Gnosis, the path of Gnosis is not something, it's like enlightenment. Um, you don't say to somebody, I am an enlightened being. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So likewise, when you're on the path, it's not something you sort of advertise. Yeah. It's something you know. It's something you experience. It's something you walk. It's something you sleep, drink, and be. Yes. So
Yes.
when you on the path, it you don't really need to say anything. People just they know. People just know because there's something different about this guy. There's something different about, you know. And then it's not they and them anymore. Then it's me and my reflection. And the love I have for the true love I have for myself in all my reflections. And is this the best possible response I can have to the reflection I'm facing? Granted, they're not all uh, the nice reflection, yeah.
That's well human.
There, yes, and they're not all the nice reflection, but those reflections which are negative or seem negative, are they not our best teachers? Are they not
100%.
are they not the reflections of us which drive us to evolution? Because without knowing how to deal with them in a Christ mind, as you so aptly said, without knowing how to deal with them in a Christ like mind, how would we develop? How do we perfect the state and gain mastery over the self. Yes.
Yes,
So the
100%.
experiences that, the experiences that I've had have been varied and vast, but I I try and share only that which I know can be beneficial, to those listening. The things that have not been pleasant, well, they're best kept under the belt, isn't it?
Yep.
Because due to them, I'm here with you. And like I said, I'm so deeply humbled to have been called to this podcast.
Thank you, Randall. Thank you. Well, hopefully that we can make a regular thing out of this and share little bits of gnosis and little just bits of hints of advice to help others on their journey. Because as you know, when we first begin this path, because gnosis is a very individual path as well, it's hard to find the right guidance. And there's so many people that have their own interpretation of gnosis as well. But it's good to have your own interpretation, your own view, because it's your own spiritual knowledge that's within you. But another thing about Gnosticism, I'm sure you'll agree, it brings you closer to the actual human that Jesus was. I haven't felt so close to the man himself since I have become a Gnostic compared to when I was a regular Christian. I was searching outside of myself instead of searching from within to find the Christ from within me.
Yeah. Oh, I've had an experience which I'd quickly just like to say, mention. Um, I have a friend who visits me. He used to visit me every Sunday, and often we would, pick up the topic of religion and life in general. And I made the mistake of one day telling him that I am not interested in the man Jesus of Nazareth, and that guy went off.
Yeah,
But it's only because of a lack of gnosis. He didn't let me finish, and I later on explained to him when he said to me, "But how can you say you're not interested in Jesus?" I said, "I'm not interested in Jesus. I'm interested in the Christ, which is the
yeah,
embodiment of what Jesus of Nazareth carried,
amen.
what he bore as a human being. I'm interested in developing that which is Christ-man and that which is Christic and universal. I'm not interested in Jesus the man,
Yeah,
because that's just a man. We're not here to create a following of people.
yeah.
We're
It's the
here to
Christ that's within us all that we can achieve. So I love that, Randall.
voila, 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 voila. So I was very it was a funny and eye-opening experience for me to know to notice how differently people feel about Master Jesus. But people just speak about him off the cuff as if I know this guy from next door, his name's Jesus, and you know, but they forget that he was actually Master Jesus. Because when you respect Master Jesus, then you that means that you humble yourself and you submit yourself to the Christic knowledge which came from him. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's where I'm at the moment. Yeah.
I also loved how you said universal, because that couldn't be more further from the truth. That is spot on. Amazing. Because it is universal. And that's the great thing about Gnosis. It doesn't just belong to one person, it belongs to us all because it's within us all. And that's why you
For
get
sure.
so much of an experience out of it, which is why it's much more beneficial than, say, most other religions, because it's not taken away from you, it's given back to you. So you're able to explore yourself. So you're your own
Oh,
teacher
for
as
sure.
well. So it's basically a guidance to be a good person, to be the best version of you that you can be.
Right. I think if you in summary, if you could say that when you when you are the best version of you, then it's easy to see your reflection in everyone.
100%.
Then it's the easiest path to see your reflection in everyone, because that is the absolute best version of you that there is. And not only in everyone, but also in everything. Because there's a depth to gnosis that goes down to the elemental level, and to know how everything in your life fits in the diadem that is you. Because remember, diadem, just our normal diamond is what, 52 facets, if I'm not mistaken? 52 facets.
Yeah, I
And
think
that's
so.
just a diamond.
Yeah,
And that's just a diamond, a common diamond. but to know your reflection in the diadem of your spirituality as a complete form. It's billions of facets, and to recognize yourself in all of them, and to beautify each face equally. This is the purpose of Gnosis, I think. Yes.
Yes, 100%. To know yourself, feel unconditional love, to feel yourself in everything. We are one of many, which is beautiful, because with Gnosis, yeah, we see ourselves in others. We see ourselves in nature, in our surroundings, in the present moment. We're not controlled by the things that used to control us, as we're able to understand the mind. As Jesus said, the mind is the treasure. And it's amazing that society shifted away from this construct, which is a shame as well. But the same time, we are leaning back to this. We're discovering this old knowledge that all leads back to Gnosis. So everything happens for a reason. There's a reason that humanity has rediscovered this, as the soul seeks the redemption. It seeks to end the suffering.
Yes, absolutely. And suffering we are.
Yes,
Suffering indeed we are. Because
100%.
I'm often appalled at the way people react towards one another. And I'm not only talking about people who behave badly. I'm not talking about people who behave badly, because those people generally know who they are. You know, it's the people who are oblivious to the fact that they just don't have any humanity left, and it's the most natural thing for them to pass by someone in need and not give them a second glance. And strangely enough, it is our duty to have compassion sufficient for those people, because they need our compassion more than those in the street.
Yes,
Yes.
100%.
So,
100%.
it's a very difficult path, but it is the path.
Well, I also find
Yeah.
that with humanity's distancing from themselves is due to them diminishing parts of themselves, burying it. So afraid to show the affection, the love, the kindness. So instead they bury it and try to bring out more negative emotions, to be more hardened. I remember myself doing this as a youth. I didn't like my kindness. So I would detach myself from it to try be something different. I'd watch the gangster movie, crap like that, to really try and change my psyche. And I realized, what the hell was I doing later on? Like, now I've discovered it's like I was trying to be something other than myself. And this is what the problem with humanity is. They're trying to be something other than themselves instead of looking from within. Once you look from within, oh baby, that everything changes for the better. You're able to full on discover yourself, live in the moment and cherish the moment, but also see yourself in others. And you understand the detachment, and you don't want this detachment again. You feel whole and complete. And that was my real journey that I've discovered myself.
I love the one statement that you just made, which is the complete facet of the humanity. It's something strange that the longer I've experienced Gnosis, the more often I wanted to be alone, because I felt sufficient within myself. I felt sufficient. I used to love constantly, because when I was a young man, I used to be an entertainer, DJ, so massive speakers blaring out all kinds of music at all hours of the night, anything to distract me. Yes. And now I don't think I enjoy anything more than the quiet solitude of just me.
It's so beautiful, isn't it? I'm exactly the same. I couldn't be by myself. And now, as soon as I discovered Gnosis, I enjoyed being by myself. I love the solitary, because you get to really look within. We need that time to fast from the world, as Jesus would say, to fast from the system.
It's wonderful.
100%, Randall. I am definitely enjoying this conversation. I'm so glad to have you here, Randall. I
I'm
think we're
so
going to
glad to
inspire a
be
few people.
here.
So they've
That'll
got
be
something
great.
to look forward to with us. So we make a little thing
I
of this
think
every couple of
I think
weeks.
maybe Yeah, I think maybe when we have another meeting, we should invite a few more people.
I would love to
Um,
have the other Gnostic View people on too.
yeah, it'll be great. That'll be great. I think if at some point we should make this our monthly get together.
That would be beautiful. We could
Down the
share
line.
lots.
Because I know some of the other Gnostic followers are amazingly educated in terms of intellectual knowledge and things like that. Although I think each has its place, you know. I'm not too keen for myself in terms of intellectual knowledge because I tend to lack in terms of intuitive knowledge. So my focus is invariably drawn there, because I lack in that aspect. So most of my aspiration would be towards intuitive knowledge rather than intellectual knowledge, because I love the experience of Gnosis. I love that every time I spend a session in meditation, it's something brand new. It's amazing. I've never experienced something like this in my life before, you know. So
100%.
these are all amazing things for me to be a part of, and it's great to know that there are so many minds around the world who are waking up and understanding the value of their very lives and the value of their breath and the value of their being.
100%, Randall, 100%. Because everything is precious. Our breath, our heartbeats are borrowed time. So with the world that's with so darkness in it, how can we be anything other than kind? Especially that's why we're here for the high levels of consciousness. With high levels of consciousness also brings high levels of love, compassion, and empathy. So we really are blessed to have these feelings, to be able to inspire others, because our good actions cause good actions in others and also inspire ourselves.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, this was a beautiful chat, Randall. I really enjoyed it. I was thinking about leaving it this one, having a short one, and then we can go
Yes, for
do
sure,
another one for
This
sure.
is brilliant. No, this is brilliant. Look, love to everyone out there in Australia, and give them our best here from South Africa. And when we meet online again, we'll chat some more, and maybe we can get some of the other guys to join us
That
in
would
the
be
future. Yes.
amazing. I'll definitely send a
Thank
link.
you.
We'll have to chat to the others.
Thank you so very, very much for having me in your company. It's been very informative, and I absolutely love chatting with you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for being on, Randall. Many blessings and much love. I'll speak to you soon on Facebook. Peace and love, brother.
Peace
I'll
and love.
stop this recording for this one.
Thank you so much.